Big boy, give us your breakdown and prediction for Benavidez versus Zurdo this Saturday.
For one, I would say I just had a chance to sit with Benavidez. When he said these are two big Mexicans, I thought he was talking about two big Mexicans where he was saying like top of the game, which they are. But the size. And I think that this is going to be one of those fights, bro, where each person has something to prove and something to lose. And it's not going to be one of those hugging matches, we're dancing with each other. I think we're going to see something explosive where somebody's going to get their head knocked off. And if I had to go to anyone, if we're looking for a prediction, I'm Benavidez.
Yeah. Jumping there with Benavidez.
Yeah. Benavidez. That's my guy right there. He's a serious contender.
You think he's swerving him, Canelo?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just a blatant, straight-out swerve.
Yeah,
fancy it.
Yeah, definitely. The man's a boogeyman in one sense. He's like, who is out there to give him a good fight? I don't see anybody out there to give him a good fight. He's that good.
What about Bivol? If Bivol beat Canelo, that'd be an interesting fight, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Benavidez, Dimitri Bivol.
Benavidez and Bivol. I'm still picking Benavidez on that one.
It is quality, isn't it? Quality.
The main event is a great fight, man. Benavidez has always shown the world, the type of fighter he is. I think Zurdo Ramirez is a little more. Sometimes you question his dedication to the sport, his discipline. We've seen a few things that he's, kind of got in trouble, a few things. But so has Benavidez. So both are gonna go out there and do their work. Benavidez is just a dog in the ring. I think Zurdo's more of a technical fighter that has great skills. So.
And we gotta get your prediction really quick. Of course, Benavidez versus Zurdo Ramirez.
Benavidez.
Benavidez? Knockout or decision?
I would love to see a knockout, like who wouldn't, right? But I would love to see a knockout, especially him moving up. But either way, man, I just want to see him win.
Who do you have, Benavidez or?
Benavidez.
Why?
¿Por qué no?
That's kind of a good point.
Benavidez.
Okay.
What are we talking about?
Who do you got? Benavidez or Ramirez? Who do you got?
I'm taking Benavidez by unanimous decision.
Benavidez. I got Benavidez.
Why?
Because he's from Phoenix, Arizona. Etron Phoenix. Right here. Etron Phoenix. Woo!
Wait, knockout or decision?
I would say decision.
Okay.
I'll say eight
Punches and bunches.
Benavidez over here.
Benavidez.
Benavidez, yeah.
Benavidez.
I say Benavidez knockout in 8.
Oh.
Your final prediction for the fight.
Final prediction, Max. I'm going to say Benavidez by decision in a good, tough fight, but I think he's going to win something like 117, 111, 118, 110.
Sounds about right. Malik, what about you?
Wow, that was very good of you, Mike, right there. And I would call that very fair. I don't want to go too far with the scorecards and what I think, but I just believe it's going to be fight of the year, and I have Zurdo Ramirez winning by decision.
When the bigger guy wins, Malik, in every example I gave you, it's by knockout. It's always by it's Gomez knocking out Zarate, Sanchez knocking out Gomez, Hopkins knocking out Trinidad, McCallum knocking out Curry. I like Benavidez, just like Mike said, by a tough decision. I even like, Mike, your scores. It'll be wide, but
Completely energized David Benavidez stepped up to the microphone. Looking healthier than he has in years, the entire narrative flipped. We are looking at a massive 25-pound question mark. Unified cruiserweight titles on the line, and the looming unavoidable shadow of Canelo Alvarez, sitting right there at ringside.
Not David Benavidez. Why not the Mexican monster? And he's really got to obviously gain the Mexican fan base, but taking fights like this, taking risk like he's taking, and let's be honest, Canelo ducking him for as long as he's ducked him, he could potentially do that, especially when Canelo retires. Canelo's going to be at the fight tomorrow. By the time you guys see this, maybe it's fight day. So that dynamic's a little interesting, although I don't think David Benavidez can get back down to 168 now, especially him moving to cruiserweight. But here's how I see this fight. I see this fight like I see a lot of David Benavidez fights, which is the fight being early rounds relatively close, right? Like relatively competitive fight, up into the middle part of the fight. There will be a big X factor. What does David Benavidez look like at cruiserweight? I'm talking volume, I'm talking gas tank, I'm talking power. You have to question it because Benavidez is not a one-punch power puncher like that. He's not a one-punch KO artist. He is a volume puncher. He's a guy that puts punches together in bunches and throughout the fight wears you down and breaks you. Can he do that at cruiserweight? Can he do that to a bigger cruiserweight like Zurdo, who is a good boxer, who will also throw good...
The visual shock of this official weigh-in sent absolute shock waves through the industry. Benavidez tipped the scales at a highly comfortable 1,968 pounds coming in, comfortably under the 200-pound limit.
WBA cruiserweight champion of the world, Zurdo Ramirez. Zurdo Ramirez weighs right in at the limit of 200 pounds. And now, ladies and gentlemen, with a record of 31 wins and no losses, 25 knockouts, the undefeated challenger, the current light heavyweight champion of the world, El Monstruo Mexicano, David Benavidez. David Benavidez weighs in at 196.8 pounds. 196.8.
For years, fans have watched David Benavidez absolutely drain his body to hit 168, stepping into the ring looking like a ghost of himself before aggressively rehydrating. This time there was no brutal cut. He was not gaunt, his eyes were not sunken, and he did not look like a man who had spent the last 48 hours wrapped in plastic sauna suits. He was smiling, relaxed and vibrating with an energy reserve that usually gets left in the locker room. Analysts are now terrified that the lack of a harsh weight cut has unlocked a high stamina version of the Mexican monster that has not existed since his early prospect days. He is not artificially blowing up his physique, he is simply fighting at his natural walking weight, and that makes him incredibly dangerous.
David, look, you're moving up 25 pounds in weight to fight this weekend. What makes you believe you are ready to make that jump at this point in your career?
You know, just because I'm ready for this. I've been calling the biggest and best fights because I know I'm 100% ready in my heart. You see the belts behind me. After this weekend, I'm going to have 2 more to my collection, and that's going to have a total of 8 world titles. So I'm just really happy to be here in this opportunity to be able to perform at the highest level in front of my fans. Cinco de Mayo weekend is going to be a party.
David, you know you're always welcome on the show, man. Thank you for being here. Let me ask you this. You're taking this fight. Is it because you wanted this fight in this cruiserweight and add the 2 belts to your collection more so that? Or is it because of the amount of people that have been ducking you through the super middleweight division, light heavyweight, et cetera, et cetera? Which one was it more?
Yeah, that's exactly why I went up to the cruiserweight division, because I had all these people ducking me. I was supposed to fight Dimitri Bivol for all the world titles at 175. He couldn't get that fight, so now we're fighting Zurdo Ramirez. And, you know, like I said, I'm just trying to get the biggest and best fights and make the best fights happen.
Not everyone is buying the sudden hype. Enter Mexican boxing royalty. Julio Cesar Chavez and Oscar De La Hoya are raising serious red flags, warning the public that this might be a carefully disguised trap. Moving up 25 pounds in one single jump is a massive gamble that has ruined spectacular careers. Julio Cesar Chavez pointed out a terrifying reality. David Benavidez might come out looking incredibly fast in the early rounds, throwing his signature high-volume combinations. But what happens when those rapid-fire punches bounce off a naturally massive Gilberto Ramirez? Gilberto Ramirez rehydrates into an absolute giant under the arena lights. The grave danger here is David Benavidez emptying his gas tank by hitting a brick wall without causing any actual damage.
Julio, how do you think David Benavidez is going to do having to move up 25 pounds? What do you think he's going to look like? How do you think he's going to look different?
¿Cómo pensás que Benavidez va a rendir teniendo que subir 25 libras para esta pelea?
Bueno, mira, lo que pasa es que Benavidez va a subir ahogado, ¿me entiendes? O sea, él no está batallando para el peso. El zurdo sí está batallando para el peso. El zurdo sube mucho más pesado. Benavidez se va a ver muy bien en los primeros rounds, ¿me entiendes? Pero le puede costar trabajo ya al estarle pegando al Zurdo Ramirez y no hacerle daño, ¿me entiendes? O esperemos que sí, esperemos que no, vamos a ver, ¿no? Pero es una pelea táctica, ¿me entiendes? Donde si el zurdo mete presión, cuidado, porque si el zurdo viene bien preparado y tira golpes, va a meter en aprietos a Benavidez.
So basically, you know, Benavidez is a more natural weight than.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I love it much. I love it.
5 Oscar De La Hoya went a step further, predicting a sudden, violent finish to the night he believes Gilberto Ramirez is a calculating machine who will simply weather the early storm perfectly, time that relentless volume, and land one devastating counterpunch to close the show.
That will elevate him certainly into that tier as well. So
I've watched many
Benavidez
fights. I've watched
Oscar De La
many.
Hoya's excited. The fight fans are excited. And like I mentioned,
Benavidez throws a lot of punches.
Fantastic fight card for you. And it all goes down from T-Mobile Arena May 2nd this Saturday. Another quick run through of what we have going on in the fight week.
Very calculated. Every punch he throws hard. It's got bad intention. All it takes is one exchange when Benavidez is throwing punches and punches. All it takes is one. That's all it takes. And it can change the fight. So I'm gonna go with Benavidez.
While the legends of the old guard are sounding the alarm, the guys who have actually traded leather with David Benavidez are singing a completely different tune. Former middleweight king Kelly Pavlik shared the ring with a young David Benavidez during intense sparring sessions, and he completely dismisses the idea of an upset. Kelly Pavlik flat-out called him a monster, predicting an insanely easy win for the challenger. According to Kelly Pavlik, Gilberto Ramirez simply does not have the athletic tools required to survive. He cannot outbox him, and he definitely cannot outwork him.
I know that David Benavidez is going to have a fight coming up in May. I know that you know him very well since he was a kid. You know, he always speaks highly of being able to have the opportunity to work with you, so he speaks very highly of that. He's going to be fighting Zurdo Ramirez. I mean, how do you see that fight playing out?
Listen, I'm not being biased. I love Benavidez, but he's just a monster, man. Like, at that weight right now, I see it hard for him to lose. You know, I think you got great fighters in and around that weight class, like B-Ball still and Beterbiev. But I think Benavidez right now is the real deal. Zurdo, I just can't see anything that Zurdo could do to beat Benavidez. I can't see him outworking him. I can't see him outboxing him. You know, I just think David Benavidez wins that fight.
In a brutally honest moment, Kelly Pavlik revealed the only thing on the planet that can actually hurt David Benavidez is himself, if he avoids prolonged inactivity and stays busy in the gym. Kelly Pavlik views him as an unstoppable force of nature, regardless of the weight class.
That's a good one, but I still got to go with Benavidez because of the experience, you know, just all the years of being in a gym, the different camps that he was in. I still would favor Benavidez in that. It's just, you know, and I could be wrong, and very rarely I am in my picks, but I have a hard time seeing anyone right now really beating Benavidez. The only thing that could hurt him is, you know,
This fight goes way deeper than unified belts and maintaining undefeated records. There is a bitter cultural war simmering just beneath the surface, turning this into a highly volatile, personal grudge match. It is the classic rivalry that has defined Mexican boxing for decades. The Mexican-American, often labeled the PO against the native-born fighter David Benavidez, has faced relentless criticism from purists regarding his heritage and authenticity, while Gilberto Ramirez represents the quiet, born and raised Mexican from the streets of Mazatlan. You'll consider
David Benavidez a Mexican fighter?
¿Consideras a David Benavidez un boxeador mexicano, considerando toda la controversia que hay sobre ese tema?
Qué buena pregunta me hiciste, ¿verdad? No, mira, Benavidez, con todo respeto, pues él es México norteamericano, ¿me entiendes? Habla español, efectivamente, pero en México no es conocido, en México no lo conoce nadie, ¿me entiendes? O sea, con todo respeto, o sea, lo conoce la gente de boxeo, ¿me entiendes? Pero así que tú digas que la gente lo conoce Benavidez, pues no, la verdad, yo lo considero norteamericano, pero sí, pero se supone que él tiene raíces mexicanas, habla español, ¿me entiendes? Y ojalá ahí se gane el cariño y el afecto de todos los mexicanos.
On Cinco de Mayo, amplifies this immense pressure by 1,000. It is no longer about just winning a sporting event. It is about proving your bloodline to millions of passionate fans. This deep-seated pride is pouring gasoline on the fire, guaranteeing that both men will abandon caution to steal the glory of the weekend.
Benavidez fighting a big guy that can fight, that can punch, that has experience against big names. Not that he hasn't done that before. Obviously, Benavidez is a phenomenal fighter, fought a lot of tons of great opponents. But fighting Zurdo Ramirez, to me, it's a real threat.
It's a threat because of size. It's a threat because of experience, because I think he's very experienced. Early on in his career, he had a lot of wins, but wasn't really fighting any names, but he captured a belt. Went to another weight class, captured a belt. So he's capturing these belts. He's showing his skill set, and I think along the way...
You're speaking of Ramirez.
I'm talking about Ramirez. Right. He's gotten better and better and better. Right. But the thing always been with Benavidez was, hey, you're a weight bully. You're bigger than all these guys. Okay, so he stepped up.
I don't like that.
It was in the beginning, yes, he was bigger than everybody at 168. I get it.
Weight, bro.
I'm just letting you know what they was complaining about. But it was valid that he was at least bigger than everybody. Not the weight bully, because you're making weight, like you said. But he was bigger than everybody at 168. But Vazdik was the first guy who was actually his size, maybe even a little bit bigger, and then he stopped Anthony Yard. So he's already proven that he could fight big guys, but now he's fighting a bigger guy. Ramirez moved up like 2 years ago to cruiserweight.
But just to add, Benavidez is also able to beat skilled boxers. He beat Caleb Plant. Like, he's able to, it's not that he's just been bigger than these guys. He's able to break fighters down. So I think he's a all-around phenomenal fighter.
That was very obvious from the beginning, but that's all people saw, was that he's bigger than everybody. And even he says it. He's like, yo, Canelo's too small for me. These guys are too small. He said Caleb Plant is really not a 168-pounder. He should fight in 160. He said that years ago. So, yes, that's why he's taking on this challenge now and going all the way up to cruiserweight, because he's like, I'm going to show you that my skills...
Cannot talk about this monumental weekend without addressing the massive elephant in the room. Canelo Alvarez is sitting ringside after actively avoiding David Benavidez at 168 pounds for 5 long years. His sudden appearance is raising eyebrows across the sport. Let's be real, Canelo Alvarez's aura of invincibility was completely shattered following his lopsided loss to Terence Crawford in late 2025. Now he is showing up to watch the man he flatly refused to fight. Team David Benavidez is not taking this as a sign of respect. They see it as a desperate attempt by a fading star to inject himself into a narrative he no longer controls.
Am I wrong about this? But he seems, his personality, he's kind of drawn into this moment. He's getting bigger, but he's drawn into the moment.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I see is, my brother, for instance, Canelo, motherfucker can't even, walks around thinking he's this, he's that. Me and my brother, we're the same, we respect everyone, we show everybody love, so we feel like it's not, we don't do this because all we want to do is be the shit or be the best, but we just do it because it's something that we love doing. And David's a perfect example of that. He'll sit there and talk to you no matter who you are. Some fighters, most of the fighters won't do that, especially at his level, But
I'm since Canelo's going to be there, what do you think?
Well, he's going to be there because they took his day. That's why. That's no longer his day.
But you guys, since that possibility seems to have gone away,
that possibility was gone a long time ago. Okay, I knew that wasn't going to happen.
I got you. But now it really is gone.
Yeah.
People don't even ask the question yet. He's going to be
You know why? Because they don't even want to fucking see that fight anymore. Because what happened to Canelo? He got his ass whooped by Crawford.
Right. Who are you down there?
I don't give a fuck. I'll fight whoever,
Jose Benavidez Sr. did not hold back in the pressers, claiming Canelo Alvarez's legs are completely gone and that David Benavidez would literally put him in the hospital if they fought today. They are publicly calling his bluff in front of the entire world.
Awesome. Last one for me. It's the most redundant question, but it's flip reverse though. Instead of you guys around the Canelo fight on Cinco de Mayo, Canelo's going to come support Munguia, but he'll be sitting ringside Cinco de Mayo, David's in the ring. How cool is that? I know it's a matter of respect. I know there's no disrespect.
Yeah, we were waiting to fight Canelo for 5 years. That fight didn't happen. That's why we decided to move. We're not waiting for nobody. We're doing our own. We're in our own lane, trying to look for our own glory and make history. and be whoever. We're not afraid to lose our undefeated record. We're not afraid to show what we have. So that's the only way. No risk, no reward.
You know, Eddie Reynoso said the fight's done. Essentially not done as it made, but it's done. Like
It's done. You know, let's be realistic. Canelo's legs are not the same. You know, my respect to Canelo. He's done so much for boxing. It will be really hard to do what he has accomplished. At the end of the day, my respect. But David right now will send him to the hospital. To be honest, young, strong, motivated, hungry. What motivates Canelo?
So where is the smart money actually going as the opening bell approaches? If you look closely at the Vegas insiders, they are telling a compelling story of pure speed versus sheer size. The hardcore boxing community is pointing directly at the Dimitri Bivol blueprint when Gilberto Ramirez stepped up against elite pound-for-pound level speed and footwork against Dimitri Bivol. His slow feet were brutally exposed. He looked like he was fighting underwater, reacting to the fight rather than controlling it. The consensus is that Gilberto Ramirez is simply too slow to trap David Benavidez against the ropes. However, the odds makers heavily favor the fight. Going over 10.5 rounds, they do not foresee an early highlight reel knockout. Instead, they are predicting a deep water war of attrition. David Benavidez is expected to dictate the pace with relentless combinations, but Gilberto Ramirez's massive frame and granite chin will likely allow him to absorb the punishment and drag this brutal contest into the championship rounds. You are
the WBA, WBO cruiserweight champion, the first ever Mexican cruiserweight champion. You said that Benavidez is a great fighter, but you do everything better. What is going to be the key difference for you tomorrow?
I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever he brings. We think we're going to put a great show, and I'm ready. That's it.
What is your final message after that face-off to David Benavidez before you step into the ring tomorrow?
Good luck. Good luck, and nos vemos mañana a ganar. Viva México, cabrones. A huevo. Vamos a hacer historia.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up one more time for the champion, the WBA, WBO Cruiserweight World Champion, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez. David, we now go to you. You are obviously have accomplished so much already in your career. You have been afraid of nobody. You're taking a big step to become a Cruiserweight World Champion. What did you take away from that final face-off with Zurdo?
Pues primero le quiero mandar saludos a toda la raza que vino a apoyar. Muchas gracias por todo su apoyo. Mañana nos vamos a la guerra y vamos a ganar. But I feel really good, man. I seen a warrior in front of me. You know, I seen Gilberto Ramirez. He's ready to go to war. I'm ready to go to war. Get your popcorn ready, because this shit's about to be a movie.
This is an important fight, not only to become a champion, but this is your first time headlining on this historic Cinco de Mayo weekend. What are fans going to see in the main event?
This is going to be my best performance to date. I'm very excited for this, and I'm going to give everything in there. I'm going in there, and I'm gonna win a great victory. But first of all, you know what I mean, I want to tell you guys, let's do something cool. On the count of 3, I want you guys to say, Monstro. 1, 2, 3, Monstro. Hey, so when I go to work, you guys already know what time it is. That's what I want to hear you guys cheering. Thank you guys so much for the love and support. Tomorrow, man, it's going to go.
This is not just another unified title fight. This is a coronation. If the tattoo Mexican monster, David Benavidez, shatters Gilberto Ramirez at 200 pounds and becomes a 3-division world champion, he officially snatches the crown of Mexican boxing directly off Canelo Alvarez. The proverbial torch will not just be passed, it will be forcibly taken by the younger, hungrier lion. And it leaves us with one massive, lingering question. If David Benavidez absolutely dismantles a unified cruiserweight champion with Canelo Alvarez watching from 10 feet away, does Canelo Alvarez's legacy permanently take a hit for running from this exact nightmare? Let me know what you think in the comments. That is all from today's video. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And do not forget to share your thoughts in the comment section. Stay tuned, and we will catch you in the next video.